Hi, my name is Shannon. I wanted to make a series of informal, entry-level videos about film and filmmaking. They're not at all intended to be comprehensive or in-depth. Instead, they should serve as a set of starting points for people who are curious about movies but might want a little direction. For this first video, there are two main points that I want to cover. Nothing very in-depth or technical, just two kind of abstract things that have informed how I look at film that I would like to share. Number one is that you need to understand that you need to look into the history and the culture of film if you really want to appreciate it. This doesn't mean that people who know more about movies are better than you, or that you don't care about movies if you don't study them. It isn't a contest, and your enjoyment isn't automatically less sincere than that of someone with encyclopedic film knowledge. I just mean that film history is fascinating. No movie exists in a vacuum, and looking at their context will increase your enjoyment of films dramatically. It can also inspire you if you're an aspiring filmmaker. My favorite example to bring up when I talk about this is Francois Truffaut. Truffaut was a young critic who wrote for a magazine called Cahiers du Cinéma. Francois, gravedigger of French cinema, Truffaut's reviews were scathing. He didn't pull any punches when writing about movies, and at times he would attack the entire French filmmaking tradition itself. Because of what he'd written, he was the only French critic not invited to the Cannes Film Festival in 1958. Then, in 1959, he made The 400 Blows.
Toute la presse en émoi. Ce gosse vient de faire éclater une bombe.
A seminal piece of the French New Wave canon, a film widely regarded to be one of the best movies ever made, particularly one of the best about adolescence, and a personal favorite of mine. 400 Blows and Truffaut went on to win the Best Director prize at Cannes in 1959.
9, en soirée, au Festival de Cannes, a lieu la projection officielle des 400 coups. C'est un triomphe.
See, Truffaut's vitriol was not the easy smug nitpicking commonly seen in online film criticism now. It was an expression of his adoration of cinema and a sincere wish that it would improve, that the medium he loved could be taken to its full potential, and that bloated, big-budget trash could be replaced with something more worthy.
J'ai toujours pensé que le cinéma était très bien, simplement que ça manquait de sincérité et qu'il fallait faire la même chose en mieux. Très près du documentaire, avoir le moins possible de travailler, fonctionner avec le minimum de fiction.
French New Wave directors opted to tell new kinds of stories using new methods. They both played with the form of film and shot quickly and cheaply, making creative use of resources. Truffaut and his French New Wave and Left Bank contemporaries helped revolutionize cinema, and all of that originated in film clubs and in a magazine started by his close friend and mentor, André Bazin. Cinema is full of stories like this. If I didn't look back on film history, I'd be missing that particular inspiration. If you look into film history, film technique, the culture of film, film academia, film critics online, if you make friends who also like film and who can introduce you to stuff you never would have heard of otherwise, if you take the time to do these things, then you'll have a much richer understanding of and appreciation for movies. The more you learn and let yourself get engaged with cinema, the bigger its world looks to you, and the more fun you can have. Any good filmmaker loves film too, and they often betray that love in a way you can only really catch if you're also fluent. Even if you don't know who Truffaut and his contemporary Jean-Luc Godard are, you've probably heard of Quentin Tarantino, the American filmmaker who took French New Wave formal techniques and incorporated them into his films. Tarantino loved Godard, though he sort of outgrew that love eventually.
Godard was so influential to me at the beginning of my aesthetic as a director, of like wanting to be a director. His kind of like lack of complete any type of film style, just wanting to make movies for love of it. Godard is the one who taught me the fun and the freedom and the joy of breaking rules. You know, setting up a close-up on the back of somebody's head as opposed to, you know, and just f***ing around with the entire medium, all right, and breaking rules.
The second point that I want to make in this video is that you need to understand that figuring out why people value certain films more than others doesn't mean that you have to value those same films. You don't have to like every good film, and you don't have to hate every bad film. If you watch 400 Blows and hate it, that's okay. I might wonder what's wrong with you, because for real, it's really good. But it doesn't make me better than you. Lots of people who know way more than you or me about movies love it too, though, and it's worth finding out why, even if your own subjective enjoyment differs from theirs. For example, I think Jean-Luc Godard is a hack. I've seen 3 of his films and didn't particularly enjoy any of them. I feel like he's trying too hard to be cool, and I find some of his content kind of offensive in a way I'd never felt watching a Truffaut or Varda film.
But I consider Godard to be to cinema what Bob Dylan was to music. I haven't grown out of Dylan. I've grown out of Godard. All right. And I'm not kicking the old guy. All right. It's just I've grown out of him now.
Le film c'est la vie et la caméra c'est l'art, ou alors ou le contraire.
J'ai vu jouer à bout de souffle et je trouve qu'on s'efforce beaucoup de salir les choses et les gens.
He is a huge and hugely influential figure in cinema, though, and his path is just as fascinating to trace as Truffaut's. I can appreciate him as a filmmaker and understand what he did was revolutionary during his time. I don't have to enjoy his movies to do that. And like, hey, if I revisited his films in a few years down the line, I might come around. Who knows? Bottom line, I really hate it when people are elitist and turn other people off from getting into a medium because they teach them to be afraid of being judged.
Want a donut?
No, I don't eat donuts or hamburgers or any other food that has approval of the masses.
Did you, see Sanford and Son last night?
I don't watch television. I don't even own a television. Notice I didn't say TV. TV is a nickname, and nicknames are for friends, and television is no friend of mine.
This is a huge soapbox topic of mine, but I don't believe in the concept of a guilty pleasure. You like what you like. If you feel like what you enjoy isn't good, or at least that other people might not think it's good, then watch more. Branch out. There's this natural progression where the more you know about film, the more confident you get in your likes and dislikes, and the less you care about your standing with the kind of people who would look down on you for not being a snob. For me, talking about movies is more about the exchange of ideas and perspectives than some dumb taste contest. When I run into people who do try to make it a contest,
You want to go see a movie then? Maybe go see that What About the Coupod?
I only go and see foreign films.
I usually avoid them.